Thank you for joining the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod. I'm Kevin Roberts, and before we jump into today's episode, I want to invite you to join the 3-on-3 Hoops Nation, which is our free email newsletter and growing community of coaches, parents, and fans who believe in the power of 3-on-3 basketball. Every week, we're sharing practice tips, drills, play ideas, stories from the pod, and much more, all geared to help you build better players and a better program. Head over to 3on3hoopsnation.com and sign up. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, and it's for anyone who wants to grow the game the right way. Hello and welcome to the I almost say I already did it. I called this the NBA 3-on-3 Hoops Pod, but this is the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod, the voice of 3-on-3 basketball, and where we break down why 3-on-3 basketball is the secret sauce to player development. I'm Kevin Roberts, and I'm joined as always by the one and only Coach J. What's going on, Coach?
Man, it's another day. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be in the nation.
Yeah, so that little slip up. I am at the NBA Finals, so I have NBA on my mind, so that's why I introduced us as the NBA Hoops Pod. But this is not the NBA Hoops Pod; it's 3-on-3 Hoops Pod. But Coach, what if I told you the number one thing holding your players back isn't skill, but it's confidence, and that 3-on-3 basketball is the fastest way to fix that? This is what we're talking about today. This is what our subject matter is for this episode, and it's why this episode is a special one. We're talking about something that hits the heart of youth sports, and that's confidence. And we're going to discuss how 3-on-3 basketball has a unique ability to unlock confidence in players who might otherwise get overlooked in traditional 5-on-5. And so this one's for the coaches who care about more than just wins, for the parents who want to just see their kid light up when they step on the court. And let's talk about why every kid deserves more touches and what happens when they actually get them.
Yeah, more touches leads to more confidence. If you're putting the ball up, if you're dribbling, if you're involved, your confidence grows, and it contributes to it's the foundation of a good player, right? Like I tell my guys when they come, through practice, through leagues, or whatever the case may be. Besides having fun, which is always the number one rule, I always tell them, confidence, is a close second, because if you're having fun and you're confident in what you're doing, that's when growth and development happens. So it's very, very, very important to, get the ball in these players' hands, get them involved in motions and sets and defense, and just watch their confidence grow from that point.
Yeah, and the reality is, you can run all the drills in the world, but if your kid doesn't believe in themselves, none of it sticks. Confidence is what turns reps into results. And in 3-on-3, where every kid is constantly involved, confidence just naturally builds faster.
Exactly.
Yeah, in a 5-on-5 game, some kids barely touch the ball. They're just filling space. But in 3-on-3, everyone's engaged. Every player gets to make reads, take shots, play defense, and you can't hide on 3-on-3, and that's a good thing, because that's what forces growth, right?
Yep. You on the front lines. That's what I
Yep.
tell. That's what I tell the kids. You are on the front line. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide.
Yep, and that's one of the best things about 3-on-3 is that players get to struggle, and they get to bounce back, because confidence isn't built through perfection. It's built by getting knocked down. Yep, repetition, getting knocked down, getting back up, and then scoring on the next play. And it's that short-term memory, that bounce back, that's where real confidence is born. So, and I want to give you a couple of truth bombs here, Coach. So I got two of them. So the first one is, a player can't grow if they're afraid to mess up. So that's the first one. A player can't grow if they're afraid to mess up.
Yep.
And the second one is, you can't build confidence from the bench.
I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one. I like that.
And that actually, you can apply that. You can actually apply that as adults also. You know what I'm saying? So So even like, if you want to get real, like, starting this podcast. Now, this podcast, just to give you guys a little insight, this was all Coach J's idea. He reached out to me on LinkedIn or whatever. He had this vision of having a podcast to create content for our leagues and stuff like that. And I wasn't on board at first. And a lot of it was because, I've dipped my toes in podcasting before. And even when we first started, I was like, I was scared to mess up and all that stuff. So, but it just the repetitions of getting used to just talking or
Yep.
whatever, and just talking about something that we're passionate about, and you just gain that confidence and like I can do this. So,
Yeah.
as adults, that
Yeah.
still this still applies, and I could be thinking about you know creating content or podcasting. I could think about it and just be on the sidelines, but until you actually do it,
Yep.
that's the only way you can build confidence. So, and
And
it's the same.
yeah, not to cut you off, but ironically, I learned that principle through sports, right? As a
Hmm.
youth, you don't, if you're scared to mess up, you'll never grow. So I applied that all the way through life, and as you can see, what do I always tell you? I just get on and I just let it rip. I'm not, I'm not afraid to mess up. I know the confidence, it comes with the reps. Uh, just like what we're saying with basketball, the confidence comes with the reps. The more and more that you do something, the more comfortable you get, the more you let it fly. And then you just have to realize that mistakes will happen, but you just gotta have ways to navigate around that, to navigate
Yeah.
around those errors whenever you make them.
Yeah. Have you ever had like I don't know if this ever happened to you when you were a kid, like you're on the bench. I don't know if you always ever started, but if you're ever on the bench, when you're a younger player and you're like you wanted to play, but at the same time, you were looking at the score. If it was a close game, you weren't sure if you wanted to go in there because you didn't want to mess it up or whatever. Like you wanted to play if it was a blowout, or that's. I know for me personally, I've had those moments where I was only comfortable on the court if the game wasn't close because I didn't want to mess up the game for anybody. I was scared to mess up. I was scared to
Yeah.
shoot. I was scared for the result.
I always wanted to be, out there, man.
Yeah,
When I didn't want to be out there was those blowout games. Those were the games where like, all right, we can go ahead and let the, you know, in the third quarter, like, let me get the
yeah.
third quarter, and then, fourth quarter, if we're up by like 20 or whatever the case may be, like, I don't care about sitting. Um, but I don't know if it was because, and this is not like a brag or anything like that, but I was always getting quality minutes anyway. So
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna be in games that are close. So I don't
Hmm.
know if I never really thought about it. But no, I never shied away from any like close games. Now I won't lie, like when you're in games, like you can feel the pressure of the moment, right? Like you can feel like, okay, we
Yeah.
got like 3 possessions. Okay, we got like 2 possessions. We got to score in at least one of these possessions. Like you can feel that, but it was never like, oh no, take me out the game because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm,
Well,
I'm too nervous. Yeah,
Well, no, once I was in, I was good, but I wasn't nerve. I was more nervous if I went in for because I just didn't want to mess up, and I didn't
yeah,
want to take, I didn't want that shot or whatever because that I kind of lacked confidence back then. But this
yeah,
is who notices this the most is parents, and
yeah,
I've seen I've had so many come up after me after a 3-on-3 game in one of my
yep,
leagues and say that's the most I've seen him actually play in the game.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that feedback matters to me, and because
yep.
parents they don't want to just watch the game. They're not necessarily fans of the team. They want to see their kid,
Their kid,
do
yeah,
well. They want to see them
exactly.
play and want to see growth. So that's why I love that kind of feedback. So that's one of the things that 3-on-3 does. So
And I don't know if you ever noticed this, Kev, in any of your leagues. So like me, like I'm a people watcher, right? So as like the games are going on, I'm like actually looking like in the stands, like at the parents of the kids that are playing.
I do the
And if you
same.
ever notice, like they're actually like really, they're looking at them like with a watchful eye, like they're kind of like, oh damn, my kid's actually playing. So let me actually see what's
Mm,
really going on. Let me see if he's actually good, or if he's or if he's developing. And you can kind of see that in their faces, like
yeah.
especially, the kids that are on the floor. I like kind of look and try to like see the parents, and
I
you
don't
can
even
see
think
they.
I don't think that they're trying to figure that out. I just think that they're proud to see their kid actually playing meaningful
Yeah, yeah,
minutes
that's
and
part
have
of it
like a
too. That's
big
part
part
of
of the
it too.
game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of it too. But what I'm kind of trying to say, I guess what I'm saying is you can kind of see like the gears
Oh
like
yeah,
chiming in the head, like, dang, you know what? Maybe this 3-on-3 thing is what we needed for him or for her, because they're actually getting meaningful, impactful minutes, and we can tell the difference.
yeah, yeah. No,
That's what I was really kind of saying, and
yeah,
I can kind of see that look on the faces of the parents as the kids are playing.
yeah. And three. I mean, 3-on-3 is the ultimate rep machine. All right, and
Yeah,
there's no development without reps.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. And just think about it. Fewer players, smaller court, more touches per player, and we've mentioned this data on the pod before on previous episodes. But even if we didn't have these stats, we've seen this just up close and personal, like Coach said. Players who were passive in 5-on-5 suddenly become more assertive when they're in the 3-on-3 environment because they're a part of the action, and they're making reads, making decisions, and more importantly, like Coach and I are trying to say, they're making mistakes that they can
Yeah.
learn from. So that increased involvement not only involves skill, but it gives players permission to try things, like we mentioned earlier, to fail forward, and that's what leads to real confidence. So, all right. So I wanted to play a clip of an interview that we had with Coach Nick Logalbo, who is a 3-time FIBA World Cup gold medal head coach for the
Mm.
USA 3x3 basketball team. We had him on the pod sometime last year. He's been on the pod before, and he had this to say about playing 3x3, or how playing 3x3 brought out confidence in one of his players. Things I want to throw in there: leadership, communication. Those are things that some players may not. With a bigger setting, if you're a person on a team of 12, you may, especially if you're a quieter person or not as, you have a dominant personality, kind of tend to rise up. I feel like with a smaller setting, you feel more encouraged to speak your voice or to make your voice heard, and I think that's huge. You learn how to communicate. You feel safer, I guess, and so just a smaller setting, you don't like lean back as much as you do on 5, with a 12-man team.
I agree 100%, and I'll even say I think that happens even at the highest of levels, and I hope when she hears this, she doesn't if she hears it. But I think about Michaela Williams right now. I mean, she's one of the best players in the world, in my opinion. She's at LSU. Yeah. She's a rising sophomore. She's a walking bucket. The first year I coached her, I mean, there was COVID. She was younger than the girls on the team. She played with Janiah Barker and Kiki Rice and Ayanna Patterson. That was our team that won that first gold medal. Michaela it was COVID. We were kind of like navigating it, but she was pretty quiet and reserved at the start, right? But when we all saw how she can hoop and she was a part of it, she came right in and she ended up being the MVP of that tournament as the youngest player in the event. And by the end of it, she hits the game winner in the gold medal game, and she's out there talking her stuff and not in just being confident. And like, wow, right? Like, I don't know that in a 5-on-5 setting, like you said, with all those players and all those voices, you get that opportunity, at least as quickly as it happened, right? So anyway.
That was just deals with the confidence you talked about. I mean, the confidence it's amazing how much, what confidence can bring out in a person. So I
Amazing
love
story. Yeah.
I love that insight by Coach Logalbo, and it just goes to show that even at the higher levels of basketball, we're talking about Olympic players here, and how the 3-on-3 format can create the environment where players can grow their confidence faster. And I think some people sometimes underrate the power of environment and how that can affect people, kids especially. And it's just that power that 3-on-3 brings, of putting players in an environment where they have to participate, where they can't disappear, and where they're encouraged to lead, even if they're quiet.
Yep, and just like he said, he hit it on the head. When you're in those smaller settings, you feel more encouraged to give your input. It's kind of like you're almost obligated to, because there's not as many voices in here, so you feel like your voice, your opinion, your input has more weight to it. Um, it's similar to like in corporate America. I know myself. Especially like when whenever you're in those bigger meetings, you kind of tend to like sit back because it's like everybody else got it. But when you're in those meetings of like 3, 4, it's only you guys, so you kind of feel inclined to speak, because your what you have to say holds more weight and more value to this particular conversation. Same thing in 3-on-3, when it's only teams of 4 and 5. Like you bet your input and your communication is valuable. As a matter of fact, what do you have to say? What input do you have? Like, if you don't have anything to say, we're gonna get something out of you. So yeah, man, I
You made
definitely
me
agree
think
with
about
that, man.
you made me think about my college days, where you're in this auditorium, and you're never gonna participate and teacher asks
Yeah.
a question, or I never wanted to
Yeah.
raise my hand. But you're in a
Right.
group of, like, if you have a group project of, you're in a group of 3 or 4, 5 guys, 5 other students or whatever, then
Yep.
you have to you better contribute. You
Yeah.
have to say something in that group. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of the same thing. So um
Uh-huh.
all right, so now I just want to give some quick ideas on how coaches can start creating more confidence building opportunities using 3-on-3. You don't have to, like we mentioned in our last episode, you don't have to change your entire system. These are just like things that you can kind of throw in there. I have 2 examples that I can give. And the first one is, you maybe use, and I wish I would have done this. I never tried this. Did I try it? Maybe I tried it once, but is just to use a simple 3-on-3 game as a warm up drill. No, I never tried that. I did the shell drill before games or whatever, but like just use
Yeah.
3-on-3 as a warm up drill before practices or even before games, and everyone's gonna get a touch. You can make it to where you require each team to create a scoring opportunity for each player. So like each player will get to choose and tell their teammates how they want their scoring opportunity, like off a pick and roll, coming off a off ball screen on the wing, like Reggie Miller style, or
Yep.
in the
Yep.
corner, in the post. So
Curry.
just create those so each player gets an opportunity to score. And then
Yeah.
that's how you'll switch from offense to defense after each player has an opportunity to score. But you
Yeah.
set those up, in a 3-on-3 setting. So, and it will just give a good opportunity to to know what your teammates like when they're out and what they're good at when they're on the court. Get your good teamwork right there. So another idea is to create restrictions in your 3-on-3 game that you
Yep.
throw in the middle of practice. And I've told you this before. I love the no dribble rule. Any kind of dribble restriction. You can do 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, whatever, but I like no dribbles. And so when you work together on something, that builds confidence. It's confidence through connection. So, confidence grows when players are trying to figure stuff out together, and they feel like they're contributing to, like we just said about the school project, what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're trying to figure something out, and you have to work together to figure something out when you can't dribble, when you make that restriction. So, and
Yep.
that's when you set screens for each other, and so you just build more
Learn to cut.
confidence. Exactly. So
You can't just stand glued with your boots to the ground. You gotta cut to the basket or
yep.
fake a cut.
So
Big cut.
you're prepared for anything, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
on the court. When you lose your dribble or whatever. Oh, I've been through, I remember the drill that we had where you couldn't dribble. So you're in that situation in the game. So that's just,
Hmm.
that brings more confidence. So when someone loses their confidence, they feel isolated and they feel alone. And this is just a subtle way to make players, keep players communicating with each other. And
Yeah.
it, helps them build confidence.
I like to let them play free.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
obviously,
Yeah.
we do the cutthroats. We do, the constraints where no pass or 3 pass or whatever the case may be. But I just like to let them play. Just go out there and not freestyle it, but you know what I mean. Just identify everything for yourself.
Well,
I'm just standing back to the side. I'm not coaching. My whistle's out of my
yep.
mouth. You identify when the screen needs to be set. You identify when you need to pop. Identify, where the defense is, when you need to kick out, when you need to drive to the basket. I feel like they just need to play basketball, and that's normally. If we don't finish off with like a 5-on-5, like full court run, we just finish with like the last 10 minutes of just 3v3, 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 just a 10-minute game. Play the 10 minutes, and whoever has the most points win it.
Yeah.
That's the most um uh closest way that you're going to be playing to 5-on-5. So let's do it that way, but in the small sided game form, the 3-on-3 form.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you don't want to completely freestyle it, but 3-on-3 is the one format where you can,
Yeah.
it's more controlled
It's
than a, like,
creativity. It's not. I don't want
yeah,
to call it freestyler, but use your creativity.
it that can turn really ugly in the five
Yeah.
on five setting, but with three on
Oh
three,
yeah.
with things more condensed, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it gives you more opportunity to kind of control that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it for the for the confidence portion of this episode, and how 3-on-3 can help with that. And it's really simple. If you want players to believe in themselves, get them playing more 3-on-3, and that's that simple. So
That's
that's just an
simple.
easy way to get reps and to get in more game situations, that they can work through their mistakes, the opportunity to make more mistakes, more opportunity for them to grow from their mistakes. So, if 5-on-5 builds systems, 3-on-3 builds belief. So, players can't thrive without both. So,
Yeah.
so coach, so I don't know, any thoughts on the NBA finals? So I don't know if you're watching, you want to give an update on the series that you're not watching.
I just say what the hally, and my boy TJ McConnell, my 3-on-3 team member, he cashed his check in game
Yeah,
one. So hey,
yeah.
you laughed at me like that was a bad pick, but he showed up when he needed to.
I
But
didn't say it was a bad pick. I
yeah, I
just
don't watch the
said,
game. I'll probably peek in at it tonight at some point. But yeah,
no, I'm at the game, so I'm enjoying watching this up close and personal. That's why I got all my NBA final swag on right now. But I think it's a good basketball series. We have game 2 tonight. We're recording this right before we go into game 2. So by the time you guys hear this, game 2 will be already done. But I don't know if
and the
you're,
series will be tied 1-1.
yeah. Oh, so you do believe OKC is going? I was going to ask you if you're in any position to make a prediction on tonight's game.
Yeah, OKC will win. Uh, I kind of feel like it's going to be a blowout, but I'm not even going to say that. I'll just say OKC will win convincingly. I'll just put it like that.
I kind of feel the same way. I think OKC takes care of them pretty easy tonight. But like I told you off camera, Indiana's just such a weird team. They're a hard team to figure out. You know what I'm saying? They can be down 20 with 2 minutes left and still be in the game.
Yeah.
So just never know. And then other than that, big three, just some big three news. I don't know if anyone's aware, but
Start next weekend, right?
the big three starts next weekend. Looking forward to that.
I'm going with the LA Riot
June
for the
14th,
championship.
LA Riot.
LA
I
Riot,
haven't
baby.
haven't picked the team yet. I got to sit down and look at the
I think they
rosters.
played Miami 305 that first week, but I'm going with my LA Riot to be the winners of the Big Three championship.
So that's LA Riot. They have Dwight Howard, right? Is that
Yeah,
Dwight
and
Howard? Yeah,
Swaggy P is the coach.
the coach. Yeah, and then Miami 305. They have Mike Beasley and
And Stevenson.
that's right. Yeah, and then they actually played 1-on-1 for
You saw
100K.
that?
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I did.
that was pretty intense.
Hey man, Beasley is that dude, man.
Watch your language, but I know what you mean. But I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, Michael Beasley's, and I think he was MVP last year. Was he at MVP Big Three
I
last
think
year?
so. I think
Yeah.
so.
So it'll be a good matchup. I don't know. I
Hey,
don't know what it
hey,
is about
speaking of the ultimate 3-on-3 player, Michael Beasley. That's
Michael
the
Beasley. Oh yeah,
oh
dude.
yeah, that's
He was so underrated. I just wish that he just never quite put it all together. I
yeah.
don't think that he was in the right
He didn't
system,
fulfill he didn't fulfill
man.
his potential.
But when he was at K State, I thought he was gonna be,
Yeah.
like an all time great.
It was
But
he was after it was Derrick Rose and him, right? That was the same draft. Was that the same draft?
ooh, I think so. I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess
something like that.
I'm too lazy
Because
to
they was
Google
both
it
were
right now.
freshmen. Huh?
Yeah, but Michael Beasley was.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to watching him play in the league, and it just never. I mean, he played. He had a decent career. He just never,
Yeah, he
really
did.
reached his, potential.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
a lot of outside factors. But yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm really,
you'll get ate up, man. If you get in that NBA, you can't control yourself.
dude. I'm really looking. I don't know what it is about this season of Big Three. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad that it's trending upward. I think after there was like some uncertainty on the
Yeah,
league kind of hanging on
they're
by a
like season
thread.
8 already.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's just like I think it's growing and growing, and just to add the cities to it this year, I can't
Yeah,
wait
it's
till they
dope.
actually have home games, and it's not. I can't wait for it. So
Yeah,
I'm looking
it's
forward
dope.
to it.
Yeah, it's dope.
All right, so that's where we'll end it. I do want to give a if you haven't signed up for the 3-on-3 Hoops Nation newsletter yet, go to 3on3hoopsnation.com. That's where we're sharing ideas, plays, articles, and stories from the 3-on-3 movement. And it's just the start of a new kind of community, and we want you guys in it. So Coach, you got anything to add on that?
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Nation.
So, yeah, Nation. We're waiting on those T-shirts, Coach. I'm gonna give that assignment to you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All right. So that's it, Coach. I'm gonna go ahead and let you give your final thoughts and maybe give us a word of the week that we can all focus on. Last time you gave us the word consistency, I think. And I think that was a good.
Well,
That
this
was
one is easy. This the word of the week. This week is easy. It's confident.
there. You
Approach
go.
the week with confidence. Whatever it is that you're doing, attack it with confidence, and then I'm sure the best result you will receive the optimal result that you're looking for.
Nice, 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 and I love it. So that's it, guys. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of 3-3 Hoops Pod, and don't forget to join the nation. And we'll see you guys when we see you. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm a little tired this morning, man.
Yeah. Did you have a
Yeah.
game yesterday?
Dude,
How's that
that's
going?
crazy because we actually I didn't have anything in the morning yesterday. We had I thought we had a, a summer league.
You look
Uh,
sunburnt.
do I?
Maybe it's just light.
No, I got this light right here.
Okay. It's
I thought
bringing
we
out
had summer league
it's bringing out
stuff
the red.
yesterday, but we have it's next weekend though, and I'm talking about summer league for high school. So I'm juggling both.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah,
going all right though.
yeah, that's cool. I'm like, excited about the high school kids. It's always good when I see them. Like during the summer, they come back. They all like seem taller and stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's when they hit the growth spurt,
Yeah,
like right when they enter high school.
and then like it's real cool because so this year my first class that I started coaching, they're going to be seniors. So it's kind of a little sentimental moment for me that
Yeah.
they started with me in ninth grade, and then now this is their
Oh,
last
okay.
year. Yeah.
Nice,
So
nice, nice.
yeah,
That's
it's,
cool.
time flies by, man.
You ain't lying, dude. Like I had just made a Facebook post yesterday, or yesterday, the day before yesterday, about my son, and I was looking at his he had just graduated kindergarten or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can remember like it was yesterday with my 21-year-old, but we had the same pictures or whatever.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like, man, I feel so old, man.
Yeah, I gotta go out to Cali on Wednesday. On Tuesday night, my daughter is graduating from fifth grade, so
Yeah.
um,
Graduated from fifth grade. They have graduation from fifth grade.
they got graduated from fifth
Good
grade, man.
goodness.
To go to
My friend was like telling me about how he was just it was crazy that they had held a graduation for kindergarten and for eighth grade.
Well,
So
I graduated from kindergarten, but I didn't graduate again until eighth grade.
yeah, and then he was like, I guess he's never heard of that before. They didn't have one at
Really?
his school, so he felt like he missed out. But like,
I feel
I've
like you
never
should
heard.
definitely graduate from eighth grade at the very
But
least.
what if you're going? So like, so the thing that, so the, so this is a K through 12 school.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
they graduated eighth grade, but they're
They go
acting
back
like
to
they're
the
not
same
gonna.
school.
Yeah, they're acting
I
like
mean,
they're not
but
gonna see
still,
those
nah,
people again.
you gotta graduate them because even at my school where I coach is 6th through 12th, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
eighth graders still have a graduation. But yeah, I feel what you're saying. That is kind of weird. You graduate from eighth grade to go back. You go to ninth grade
yeah.
at
You
the
see all
same
those people.
school,
Yeah, what are y'all sad for? Y'all gonna see each other next year. It's like
right?
one or two kids are gonna be back.
That's funny. Especially
Um,
the sad part. Yeah, yeah. I'm
but I've
not
never
looking to be
heard of
sad.
fifth grade graduation. That's
Really?
crazy.
They do that. I mean, that's a regular thing in Cali.
Oh, okay.
They graduate from elementary school and then go
That's
to middle school.
the green participation ribbon that they're giving out.
Well,
They get
oh yeah. So okay, so they technically call it a promotion. So I don't know if that's really a graduation, but they call it a
yeah. Do you
promotion.
have a
So
ceremony?
yeah, it's a ceremony and everything.
It's too much. That's too much. All right, let me see.
How's it out there at OKC, man? I saw you. You said there was a tornado one in the first day. Was
Yeah, it was tornado warning.
I
That
would have been spooked out by that by itself.
Sirens went off. I was actually already in the arena, but they had moved everybody from the TV compound or in the on our trailers. They moved everybody inside the arena, and
Oh
so
shit.
we thought it was just like, but now it was apparently it was like right over us. I
Yeah,
heard
this
that
was not a test.
yeah, everybody's acting like there are people that wanted to go outside and look at it or whatever, but they kept us all hunkered down in there, so
I ain't looking
it's
at
kind of
that shit.
wild. Yeah, so we'll see. But it's all right, man. It's pretty cool. It's just it hasn't felt like the finals until tip off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere didn't really. So when I did the finals, what was that 2016
So it looked
Golden?
like my theory is coming to fruition, huh?
Well,
Nobody gets
well, let me. Yeah. uh, but let me say this. It
Oh,
was different when I did the finals, like when it was Golden State in Cleveland. Because you can tell, like the buzz was
it was
there.
buzzing,
You
yeah.
saw all the stars there, and I don't remember. I didn't see any stars here, except for the sports guys. It's crazy, like I bumped right into David Aldridge.
Oh yeah.
We're both looking at our phones. We were bumping to each other.
Oh damn.
I seen Rachel Nichols and all the TV
The TV
personalities, whatever.
personalities.
Brian Windhorst. Yeah, we just walked right by each other. So like it's cool seeing all that stuff. I saw. I don't know if I can put this on the pod, but this is a secret. I saw Lethal Shooter miss 3 threes, corner threes in a row.
Oh damn.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But no, I saw it. So it's cool just seeing all these guys out there. And when tip off starts, you definitely the atmosphere is changes instantly.
It
But
ramped up, yeah.
just like I got to see Malik Andrews and Kendrick Perkins and what I'm saying, just it's up
Perp.
close. Oh, so one thing that I was just like, I was right when we walked in the arena. Your boy Chet Holmgren was walking off the court. And I
Oh
guess
yeah.
this is during media day, so he's walking out the bowl area, and we were walking in. So we passed right by each other. Immediately, I was like, man, I thank God that I hurt my knees in my senior year in high school, and so I didn't have the delusion of that I can hang with these guys because I would have wasted so much time, man. It's like I was just kind of taken aback at how tall these guys were. You know what I'm saying? Just like how just towering. But I've seen them all before. But
And
like,
don't forget the skilled part. That's
well,
the
that's what I mean. So like they're coordinated, and just to see, you know what I'm saying, and it just
that tall
like
and that big.
I'm thinking about like who would I even guard? You know what I'm saying? Like, I see Andrew Nemhart, he's one of the shorter pacer players, or even your boy TJ McConnell. Like
Yeah, he
they're
put up
still
that good
towering over
9.
me.
He put
I'm
up a good 9 and 4
yeah.
assists. He saw that. He saw my 3v3 player. Yeah,
there
he
was
was
there
out
was a
there.
point. Oh, there was a point where I think it would have been either early third quarter or late second. They said on the broadcast that after he scored, he said TJ McConnell is the leading scorer for the Indiana Pacers right now. And I thought about you, but so I guess you're watching the game after all, huh? So you checked.
No, I didn't because we had practice for our club team. So
Oh, okay.
the first thing I saw when I picked up my phone was Halliburton did
Yeah, that was crazy, man. The first,
not three but the shot. But
yeah,
the thing what I did do was I went to the box score.
yeah,
I always go to the box score to kind of like see and then kind of like piece together how the game may have went. And then I
it
went
was crazy.
to the TJ McConnell stats. He did have 3 turnovers. He did have 3 turnovers, but he had 4 assists
No,
and he
he
had
played
nine
well. No, he
points.
played well. He kept him in. He had
Yeah,
some big time moments. But yeah, that whole like they didn't have the lead until 0.3 seconds left in the game until
yeah,
that shot by Halliburton. It was crazy.
yeah.
But that was a good game, man. You check it out. Check out game two. It's
I'll
probably gonna be
probably
a
watch
blowout
it.
tonight. I
Yeah,
think it's gonna be a
I'll
blowout.
probably watch it today because I don't shit. There's nothing else gonna be on TV. So yeah. But yeah, I agree. They're gonna probably be in about like 20 tonight.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a blowout, but we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know. Indiana's such a weird team to figure out, but I don't know. We'll see.
Give me these people emails so I can subscribe them to the
Oh, okay.
newsletter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure, for sure,
yeah.
sure.
But we'll still add them because a lot of people they're probably not going to take
Yeah,
the first step. At least
yeah.
not right now. Yeah.
All right.
Because people could comment on there and everything. So that's really what my goal is on that, is to get people.
In my all NBA
There you go. There you go.
swag.
There you go.
Let's see. All right. Ready? Let's do this. Any questions? I know.
You know me, man.
I
I'm just
know.
ready to get in the booth and spit that hot fire.
Okay. All right, Dylon.